Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a great day. Taking a look here at SUI, see what's going on. We're going to double check some important stuff here. In fact, we are tentatively in this range, and as per usual, the price retests this upper level here. We saw that instant rejection about 178. So again, hindsight's 2020, but that'd be a perfect place to consider a short. Again, just based on yesterday's analysis. Today's analysis will tell us different stories. Okay, so you got to recognize just because yesterday said this doesn't mean today's going to be the same. But the truth is, this does look fairly bearish. In other words, we could see kind of a bearish type of flag pattern here forming where the price action is potentially due to break down here soon. So that in combination with Bitcoin kind of hitting its resistance, I think there's a solid chance we might see further downside for SUI, at least in the short term. I don't think it's going to be monumental per se, but this range that we're in right now, until we break it, you can pretty much just trade the short the top and long the bottom. That's basically where we're at for the moment. Granted, we've only tested both sides of the support or resistance one time. A little premature, but anyways, that's generally how it's supposed to work out when you do perform range-bound trading. So let's take a look here at SUI on the back end, see what's going on. In the meantime, just ask you hit the like button, comment below if you get a chance. Really appreciate that. Thanks to everyone who's been doing that. We've been getting actually a slightly larger amount of views recently, which means that less moon boys are getting the views and more hopefully constructive analysis are getting more, right? Which is us essentially. So what we want to look at here is liquidation data for SUI. On the left, we got the 7-day. On the right is 30 days. And if we look here, we can see there's a solid amount of liquidation, of course, between $2 and $2.10. A lot of shorts up there at that level, okay? But there's equal amount, if not more, longs to the downside here at about 140 to 150, even 160. Okay, so those are like three easy areas to remember. A lot of liquidation at each level. So if you're going to consider a short hypothetically, those would be good targets to shoot for. 161, for example, 151 or 145. You always want to set your limit orders, no matter which direction, whether or not you're trying to get filled or you're trying to take profit, just above or below key fib levels. Because again, when you're just jumping in willy-nilly at round numbers, there's a good chance you won't get filled because there's going to be tens of thousands of other people in line in front of you. You pick that odd number, you're going to be right in front of them, and you're going to get filled, you're going to get in and out. That's generally how it's supposed to work. All right, so let's look at the daily time frame, work our way down, and recognize we're still above this ascending trend, okay? So by no means is SUI bearish. Please understand that. If I say the price is going to pull back shortly here, or in the short term, it's a totally different story. Absolutely shouldn't get frustrated by me saying that. Again, if you're frustrated by anyone saying anything about a coin that you like, you're probably doing it wrong. Because again, when it comes to trading, you shouldn't be emotionally charged when you take a trade. Okay, so try not to take offense if I ever say something about this coin pulling back. There's just a lot of reasons why it's shifting momentum and it hasn't fully shifted yet. But again, this ascending trend line, which does in most cases, again, run current as well, or concurrent rather, with moving averages. Look at that perfect alignment with the 50-day SMA. You can see that guy right here. Right there. There's a 50-day SMA kind of hanging out. That's the 20. The 20-day SMA is like a trend setter on the daily time frame. So when we see that 20-day SMA there, we recognize that, hey, we're still on the right side of tracks. We're still in mostly in good shape. Okay, we're over 50 on the RSI too, still really good. Doesn't mean the price can't pull back. It in fact typically does. And same thing with money flow index pulling back too. We're seeing money coming away from this coin. So people are starting to take profit. They're starting to sell. What do you know? There's over 18 billion, probably even more now at this point, in liquidation down as low as that 140 to 133 range. There's also a fair value gap, keep in mind, right here at this 0.618 fib level at about 118. So I don't think we're going to see a price point quite that low. However, you just need to know that those are incentivized areas because of those liquidation and or value that's left there. The price went up too fast, and people with the largest positions, which are not people like you and I, the whales, the market makers, they're the ones that still want to secure profits in those areas. Okay, and they can control the market to do that, by the way, regardless of how great a project is. So we can see here MACD is diverging too, kind of letting us know that natural shift in momentum has occurred. So while we haven't broken our ascending trend line, so a lot of little things here kind of letting us know that there's cracks in the glass here, so to speak, and SUI has potential or a propensity to go lower. We're also under the 20 and the 50-day SMA. That's generally unfavorable. I don't like to take longs into that. I want to make sure I'm above those levels before I consider a long. So if, just say in 24 hours from now, the price action is still in this range and we're naturally above those levels, that might be a consideration to take a long. Again, a lot of it hinges on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is retesting its resistance range here with a cup and handle pattern potentially playing out. If that does happen, we will see something similar here. But you got to look at this here. Look at this chart here. Look at the last 24, 48 hours. We've seen a pretty significant drop from top to bottom. Okay, that's like 20% correction, about 13% right now to the current price point. We look at Bitcoin, roughly the same amount of time, is like a 5% correction, and it's back up to only about a 1 or 1.5% deficit from its original starting point. Again, this is all just spitballs, but if you look at those numbers there, you can see there's a lot more of a correlation between SUI and Bitcoin as far as the pullback is concerned, that we need to be careful, because this does look, again, there's like a lot of patterns you can kind of consider here too. I mean, to me, the fairly obvious one is that, you know, we could be seeing a cup and handle pattern. Sorry, I always say that. Bitcoin's a cup and handle. We could be seeing a head and shoulders type of pattern here forming, where the price action is maybe going to attempt one more higher high here and then establish a lower low. This also runs concurrent in a lot of ways with Elliott Wave 2, which I will post our playout chart here soon on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord to give you perspective on that. I don't have the time to do that right now, but I just want to kind of show you that there's a lot of reasons why taking a blind long on SUI right now doesn't make a ton of sense, but also we're in this transition too with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin ends up surging this weekend, I do think SUI will follow suit. It's done very well in most cases, so by no means am I bearish on this coin. I'm just letting you know that there's some fairly obvious indicators here that are telling us that we might be still on the, you know, we may be moving down. Here's another one too as well. Give you perspective, we're under 50 on the RSI. Keep in mind, Bitcoin is also right there too, getting rejected by that level, that resistance at 61.8. So staying below this level implies bearish downside or potential for bearish divergence. Stochastic is swinging up, of course. MACD is trying to converge here, which is that natural capitulation that we're seeing. So once again, we're in a situation right now where there's mostly bearish signs here on the 4 hour, but not all of them are confirming. Okay, so again, hourly, the 4 hour and the daily both kind of have slightly more bearish signs than bullish. The hourly time frame, which coincidentally is bullish for most coins today, is not so much here for SUI. We're below the cloud. Conversion line is above the baseline. We got moderate amount of momentum, but the lagging span is not free and clear either, which it could be honestly in a couple of hours here, so that can totally change. But the truth is, waiting until today's candlestick closure for Bitcoin, I think, would be probably more important when trading this coin, because you would understand, because here's the thing, if we were to break above, you know, key level resistance for Bitcoin today, and most alts start surging, you know, we're going to logically be above this confirming factor here, which first of all would put us above this horizontal trend, this current trend of 178 being the resistance. It would also put us above the cloud. We'd regain our previous ascending trend, and we'd have the lagging span be free and clear of the price action. That would give us more confidence in taking along at that point. Between now and then, I think it would make more sense to consider the price is going to go down, because we're rejecting off this level. If Bitcoin pulls back, we'll see the same thing from SUI. So once more, I think there's more considerations for shorts than longs on this coin, just based on the overall sentiment and how the price action is behaving, especially considering how poorly it did recently when Bitcoin pulled back. Imagine Bitcoin pulling back another 3 or 4% margin. We'll probably see a 10 to 20% correction from SUI. The important thing here is that SUI, how strong it pulled back recently, that's the correlation of where we're at right now. So Bitcoin does correct itself, we'll probably see a solid correction from SUI too. So again, me personally at this point, with everything I've looked at here so far, there's really no reason to take a long position unless sometime today we close above specific levels. More specifically, I would think a closure of 180 or higher as a round number would be good. But again, you look at all that and then you see the incentive here for price action with all this liquidation. I mean, there is a chunk of change. Every one of these bars here is between 600 to 800 million. Like, that is a lot of liquidation, folks. Okay, so again, me personally looking at everything here, I think SUI is due to pull back a little bit further. Unless Bitcoin somehow surges, I think that short from this coin would make more sense at this point. Once more, if you're going to take a long, consider waiting until the daily candlestick closes first and see where Bitcoin ends up. But at this point here, it's not a great market for a long at the top here with this coin. I just kind of where I'm at here. Okay, so if you have a disagreement, go ahead and comment below. You could be one of those folks that maybe dislikes the video, and if you got to do that, that's fine. But it's unfortunate if you're disliking it because you're acting on emotion and not logic. So again, everything here on the charts tells us majority of this coin, at least from a technical standpoint, is tentatively bearish. So please understand. And I hope that makes sense. Okay, cool. Thanks again. I appreciate y'all watching nonetheless. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll look forward to seeing the next one. Once more, I'll post our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. You'll be able to see my thoughts there. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks again. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.